Helen, here. Welcome to the show. Your past does not define your future. Let's get started. Hey everyone, Helen Bella here again. And today we're going to be talking about what it is in our past that helps us get through relationships. So, what we usually do is we have programs in our head that we picked up through our lifestyle, through our social economic situation, through modeling what our parents, grandparents, people that we admired, we modeled their behavior. So what happens is when we get into any type of relationship with a partner, we tend to model that behavior that we have seen. Now, sometimes we will see a behavior that we don't like. So perhaps your parents argued all the time and you thought to yourself, well, I'm not going to do that when I have a partner. Or you may have seen your parents were always laughing, joking, full of life, and you thought, that's how I'm going to be when I have a partner. However, what happens is you may think things like that, and you may have yourself, okay, this is how I'm going to be when I'm in a relationship. But your partner may not have the same values, the same model, and the same beliefs that you have. So how do you cope with that in a relationship? Over the years, I've dealt with a lot of couples and a lot of families, and it's challenging for one person to see another person's viewpoint because of the modeling and because of the programs they already have in their brain and their values and belief systems ingrained in them. So sometimes it's a challenge for them to be able to understand where you're coming from. One of the other things I find is that some people don't realize that their relationship is toxic, or their relationship is abusive, or the relationship is really not in a positive light. Again, this comes from your own self-esteem, your self-confidence, and your modeling and your belief system and your values. And a lot of people think that someone that is being put down, so someone says to someone else, okay, well, you're always negative, or you're always doing things wrong, or no, you will never make it. Why don't you just get a job? You'll never have a business. And they sometimes think to themselves, well, that's the opinion of the person that I love, so I need to listen to that opinion. And then over and over again, you hear the same thing. You're not good enough. No, you shouldn't do this. No, you shouldn't wear that. Oh, you look not so good in that. Or your cooking isn't any good. Or your driving isn't any good. Or your parenting skills aren't any good. And sometimes it takes years and years and years of having this said to you over and over again. Then you suddenly realize you're sad, you're unhappy, you're getting depressed. You may be eating, you may be drinking, you may be overworking to compensate for all of these things. But you're doing all of these things unconsciously until something happens, whether you have a talk with another friend and you get a realization, or whether you see another couple and you get a realization, or whether you're watching a program on TV and realization. But some people go through this for years and years and years before they realize what's going on. And then when it comes to making a decision to change that relationship to what you think it should be to be able to be happy, it's then a big challenge because you've been together for so long, and now the other person is going, well, hey, I haven't changed. I'm still the same person. You're the one that is unhappy. So you need to change. So it's very, very challenging. And I find this with a lot of clients. They vacillate between I'm leaving, I'm staying, I'm leaving, I'm staying, I'm leaving, I'm staying, because of the actual brainwashing that they have had either through the relationship they're in, or they've had that all their life and they don't know any different. So if you're in that situation, or you think you may be the person initiating these things to your partner, then look at what is it that you are trying to portray. Is it a modeling behavior that you saw your parents, your grandparents, and you think, well, it was okay for them, so it's okay for me? You find that a lot with disciplining children. Well, I got whooped as a child and I'm okay, so therefore I'm going to do it too. And that can be taken to extremes. Also, especially if one of the parents doesn't believe in physical, for want of a better word, abuse, to teach a child a lesson. There are lots of other ways of doing things. However, your partner, okay for me, so why should it be okay for the kid, right? So it's breaking that cycle of whatever it is that the modeling was. Now, not all of it is abusive. You can get the modeling of the man goes out to work and provides, and the woman stays home, cooks and cleans and things like that. So believe it or not, in this day and age, that still happens. There are still couples that still have that routine. They still have that model. And you have to remember that we're living with at least 3 generations and perhaps 4 generations in a family. So if you look at your grandmother or your great-grandmother and the lifestyle that she led and how she was treated and how her model for being a wife, a partner was in relation to 2022, what the people think a relationship is today. Now, some people still think it's the same as your great-grandmother, and if it works for them, that's okay. And some people don't think that that's how it should be. And as the generations have moved on, things have changed throughout the years. Women have become more empowered, women have become more self-confident, and women have got more self-esteem. And men also have changed their way of looking at a woman's role, especially in our economic situation where most families have to work. Now, and I'm saying man and woman, I'm talking about all relationships, same-sex relationships, whatever. It's the same thing. You still have an opinion about how you should behave towards another person and how you think that your relationship should be. And to start with, when you get into a relationship, you should really have these conversations. What are your religious beliefs? What are your political beliefs? What are your working from home beliefs? What are your plans for children? What way do you want to bring a child into this world? How do you bring up this child? How do you motivate each other? How do you motivate your children? And you have to have these conversations. If you don't have these conversations, then realistically, you've only got yourself to blame when something doesn't work out the way you want it to, because we're not mind readers. So if you don't mention what it is that you want, or you don't mention what your values and beliefs are, then how is the other person going to know? How are they going to know what it is that your goals and dreams are? So sharing your goals and dreams with the person that you want to share a life with is paramount to having a good relationship. Now, do our goals and dreams change? Absolutely. But our values and belief systems shouldn't change that much unless they are completely different to the other person's values and beliefs. And then there has to be some sort of compromise. And sometimes the compromise is it's not going to work. There's an exercise that I do with my clients when they're thinking about getting into a relationship, and it's working through what they want in a relationship, and then working through the reasons you want that in a relationship. So, for example, sometimes people will say, well, I want someone that's trustworthy. And then I go, well, what's the purpose of having someone trustworthy? Well, my dad was unfaithful to my mother, so I want a guy that's going to be trustworthy. So you don't really want a guy that's trustworthy. You have a challenge, an emotional response, and a program that's running that all men are untrustworthy. So therefore, I work through overcoming that challenge and getting a different view that every man is not like your father. So you bring your baggage into a relationship, and everyone says, oh yes, I've got baggage. Fair enough. We've all got baggage, absolutely. But unless you fix your baggage, your relationship is going to have that baggage hanging over you. It's going to be hanging over your relationship. It's going to be hanging over how you bring your children into the world, how you adopt children, how you surrogate children, whatever it is. Now, I don't want to get into what has just happened with Roe v. Wade right now, but I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about a mindset. I'm talking about your values. I'm talking about your belief, and about having a happy relationship that is going to be lasting however long you want it to last. Now, again, when you've got generations, you can ask an opinion of a generation before or below you, and you will get different opinions. Opinions are great to have, but there's someone else's opinions. You have to take on board that opinion and see if it fits with what you want to achieve in your relationship. So even what I'm saying, you could be turning around and say, oh yeah, that sounds like so-and-so, and do nothing about it. Or, yeah, that happened to me, and do nothing about it. That's okay. Everybody's got their own way of doing things, but you have to choose how you're going to be happy. And if you choose to know that you have a relationship that isn't 100% happy, that's okay, because that's your choice. However, if you make that choice with all the unhappiness, with all the baggage in the relationship, then you can't complain about it. You can't get upset about it, and you can't get sad about it or depressed about it, because it's your choice. You have to accept it and move on, because we all have a choice. And I've heard, well, I've got children, so I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. You still have a choice. Well, I don't have a choice because I took some vows. Yes, you do have a choice. Right? We all choose to be where we are. We all choose our relationships. We all choose whatever job, career that we want to do. It's all a choice. Oh, I don't have a choice because I've got to bring up my kids, so therefore I've got 3 jobs. Yes, you do have a choice. You can get 1 job. You can get 5 jobs. It's your choice. It doesn't matter. It's your choice. And as long as you're happy with your choice, nobody can say anything about it. But if you're unhappy with your choices, then you have to do something to change that. And whether that's your own self-development, where you have to change and recognize things about yourself, or whether that's you have to recognize things about your partner and have conversations to have that changed so that your relationship can be different. Before, a lot of people I found have gone to therapy, marriage counseling, couples counseling, all those sorts of things, family counseling. And when I've done it with couples, most of them come because they have a problem. They don't come with a solution. Just think about that. You focus on what your challenges are, what your unhappiness is, but what do you want to change? You want your partner to change? Do you want you to change? What is it that you want? So unless you know what it is that you want, you can't expect to change anything anywhere. So you got to know what you want. So I would suggest that you, regardless of what relationship you're in, regardless of what job you're doing, regardless of what career you're in, is you write down things about what it is in your life that make you happy, and write down the things that make you unhappy or not as happy as you would like. And then see if it's something that you have to change, or if it's something your environment has to change, or if it's something that your partner or the people that you live with have to change. And like Dr. Wayne Dyer says, if you can change it and it's in your control, then change it. If you can't change it because it's not in your control, then you can't change it. So it's entirely up to you how you are when your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your partners, your relationship with your children, your relationship with your work colleagues, your relationship with your bosses, your relationship with the people that you meet in the street. Your choice, your happiness. You're in control. So thank you for listening again. I'm happy to be here, answer your questions. I'm going to have some more guests coming in a month or so, and we're going to have some more topics. And remember that, does your past influence your future? Does it influence your present? And how much of it are you allowing your past and your past baggage to influence your present day? Have a wonderful day. Signing off, Helen Vella.